सदुयं समाश्रित्य सकलं भद्रमश्नुते श्रिया च भद्रया जुष्टः यत्तं भद्रं नमाम्यहम् திருமாளிகை தோறும் தேசிகன் ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமா நம்ம நம்பி ஸ்ரீனிவாச ராகவாச்சார சுவாமி திருமாளிகையில் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு. அதாவது சுவாமி தேசிகனுடைய ஸ்ரீசுக்திகளை எல்லாரும் கொண்டாடணுன்றதுக்காக ஏற்படுத்தப்பட்ட ஒரு திட்டம் இது. யார் தங்கள் திருமாளிகையில இது நடத்தணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டாலும் அவருடைய திருமாளிகையில இதை நடத்த முடியும். பிரதானம் என்ன அப்படின்னு கேட்டா தேசிகனுடைய ஸ்ரீசுக்திகளை பாராயணம் பண்றது, அதனுடைய அர்த்தங்களை தெரிந்து கொள்வது. அதுதான் பெரும தேசிகன் வந்தார், தேசிகன் போனார், தேசிகன் நின்றார், உட்கார்ந்தார் அப்படின்றது மட்டும் இல்ல, தேசிகனை உள்ளது உள்ள. அதற்காக இப்பொழுது இந்த 3 நாட்கள் யாதவாபியுதயம் நடக்கிறது. 24 சர்க்கங்கள், கிட்டத்தட்ட 2500 ஸ்லோகங்கள் பாராயணம் பண்ணிருக்கு. ஸ்ரீமத் பாகவதத்துடைய பரமசாரம் தசமஸ்கந்தம், குறிப்பா தசமஸ்கந்தத்துடைய பரமசாரம் அத்புதமாக அனுபவிக்கப்பட்டது. ஒவ்வொரு நாள் ஒவ்வொருத்தர் உபன்யாசம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கா. இன்றைக்கு அமோக சக்கரவர்த்தி சுவாமி, இந்த சுவாமி யுஎஸ்ஏல இருந்த, அதுக்கப்புறம் இப்ப காலக்ஷேபங்கள்லாம் பண்ணணுன்றதுக்கோசம் இந்தியா வந்துட்டு, அங்கேயும் இங்கேயும் டைமிங் சரியா வரலன்றதுக்கோசம் இங்கேயே மைசூர்லயே ஒரு உத்தியோகத்தை தேடிட்டு அந்த உத்தியோகத்தை காலக்ஷேபத்துக்கு பிரதிபந்தகம் இல்லாமல் அந்த உத்தியோகத்தை மாத்திட்டு இப்ப காலக்ஷேபங்கள் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு. அந்த சுவாமி கம்சவதம்ன்றத பத்தி யாதவாபியுதயத்துல இங்கிலீஷ் உபன்யாசம் பண்ணுவார். ஏன்னா நமக்கு இன்னைக்கு மல்டி லாங்குவேஜஸ் வேணும், மல்டி லாங்குவேஜ்ல எல்லாரும் ஆடியன்ஸ் இருக்கா, ஒரே மாதிரி நம்ம பார்த்துட்டு உத்தம சுவாமி வியாக்கியானம் இருந்தா தமிழ்நாட்டிலேயே அந்த புஸ்தகம் பிரச்சாரம் ஆகல, மொத்தமா எப்படி அந்த வியாக்கியானம் சரி பார்க்கறோம். பிரபந்த ரட்சணை உத்தம சுவாமி ஆச்சரியமா ஒரு வியாக்கியானம் பண்ணிருக்காரு, பிரபந்தங்களுக்கு வியாக்கியானம் பண்ணிருக்காரு. ஏன்னா தமிழ்லே இப்ப தமிழே எப்படி படிக்கணும்னு சொன்னா தமிழை இங்கிலீஷ் பட்சம் தான் படிக்கிறதுன்னு ஒரு கல்ச்சர் வந்து. ஐ எம் வெரி ஃபெமிலியர் வித் தமிழ் அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம், அதை இங்கிலீஷ்ல டைப் பண்ணினா நான் படிப்பேன்னு அர்த்தம். அந்த மாதிரி இருக்குச்சு மல்டி லிங்குவல் லாங்குவேஜஸ் நமக்கு ரொம்ப தேவைப்படுறது. சம்பிரதாய பிரச்சாரத்துக்காக பல பாஷைகள் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், பல பாஷைகள்ல விஷயங்களை சொல்லணும்ன்றதான் முக்கியம். அந்த சுவாமி அமோக சக்கரவர்த்தி சுவாமி கம்சவதம்ன்றதான தலைப்புல இங்கிலீஷ் உபன்யாசம் பண்ண போறார். நாம எல்லாரும் கேட்போம். 5:40 அவர் பூர்த்தி பண்ணுவார். நல்லாவே தட்டு 5:40. கை தட்டுறது சம்பிரதாயம். முதல்ல உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், ஹெசிடேட் பண்ணாதீங்க. கோவில கை தட்டக்கூடாது, ஆத்திர கை தட்டக்கூடாது, எங்கதான் தட்டுறது, எல்லாருக்கும் தட்டலாம். கை தட்டுறது சம்பிரதாயம் இல்லைன்னா பூமி அடிக்கூடாது, ஒரு மாமி கூட. அந்த கை தட்டுறதுதான் ஆஸ்போட்ட எந்த பித்தரகான நமக்கு சம்பிரதாயம் உண்டு. இந்த அக்கிலி பிக்கிலி ஆச்சாரத்தெல்லாம் வச்சுக்காதீங்க, நல்லா கை தட்டி ரசிக்கலாம்.
அமெரிக்கால இருக்கும்போது இங்க வந்திருக்கானா
அந்த சுவாமி நம்ம ரசிப்போம்.
उपवीति नमूर्ध्वपुण्ड्रवन्तं त्रिजगत्पुण्यफलं त्रिदण्डहस्तं शरणागतसार्थवाहमीडे शिखया शेखरिणं पतिं यतीनां श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि प्रपद्ये निरवद्यानां निषद्यां गुणसम्पदां शरणं भवभीतानां षठकोपमुनीश्वरम् श्रीमद्रङ्गशठारि संयमि वराल्लब्धागमान् तद्वयं श्रीमद्वीररघूद्वहाद्य षठजित्पादारविन्दाश्रयम् श्रीमद्वेदवतं सदेशिकयतेः कारुण्यवीक्षास्पदम् सेवे रंगधुरीण शासनवशं नारायणं योगिनं वेदांत देशिकयतीन्द्र कटाक्ष लब्ध त्रय्यंत सारमनवद्य गुणंबुधाग्र्यं नारायणाद्य यतिधुर्य कृपाभिषिक्तं श्रीरंगनाथ यतिशेखरमाश्रयामः श्रीकृष्णमार्यं करुणालयन्तं वेदान्तयुग्मं समतीतवन्तं वत्साभिजातं विदुषां वरेण्यं श्रीभाष्य सिंहं प्रणमामि नित्यम् अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। हृदि मुग्ध शिखण्डमण्डनः लिखितः केन ममैष शिल्पिना मदनातुरवल्लवाङ्गन वदनां भोज दिवाकरो युव Namaskarams to everyone here. Today, I feel fortunate to be presenting this here, as I'm presenting this amongst the august audience where there are many scholarly and elderly people present here. So, first of all, I thank the host for arranging this program, which is Yadavabhyudayam Mahotsavam for 3 days with Parayanam and also Upanyasams. At this time, this is something which is very rare. That is, we don't see Yadavabhyudayam Mahotsavam really happening everywhere. Normally, we see Palka Sahasra Parayanams. We see other stotrams of Swami Deshika's Parayans. We see those Parayanams. But this is something which is happening very rarely. So I appreciate for the host for arranging this and conducting this so successfully. So today, even before going into this topic, I would like to introduce who Swami Desikan is maybe in 2 lines, and then say about Yadavabhyudayam briefly, and then go into the topic. So we all know who Swami Desikan is, but even before that, to know better, so in our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaaya, after Swami Ramanuja Acharya, who spread the Sampradaya to a vast masses with many Rakšanans, that is, with many compositions, that is none other than Swami Vedanta Deshika. So, Swami Vedanta Deshika has not only given us some compositions, he is a mathematician, he is a logician, he is a poet, he is a sculptor, he is an engineer, he is a doctor, and whatnot. We can go on saying it is not going to end. That's why he is known as Sarvatantra Swatantra, which means master of all arts. So this Sarvatantra Swatantra title has been conferred to Swami Desikan by Ranganayaki Tayar herself. So in this way, today we are celebrating Swami Desikan's Grantham, one of the Kavyam. Kavyam is nothing but the poetic way of the composition. This has more than 2500 verses, which is Yadavabhyudayam, and we have done the recitation or Parayanam of this Yadavabhyudayam for the past 3 days, which has successfully ended today. So this Yadavabhyudayam, we all know. I mean, if you have attended the previous 2 days lectures, you would have known. Otherwise, you might know. That is, who has commented mainly on this Yadavabhyudayam. If we see that, he is an Advaiti. So, an Advaiti who has commented, an Advaiti has commented on this Yadavabhyudayam. Who is that Advaiti? That is nothing but Appaya Dikshita. And this Appaya Dikshita has not only commented, after commenting all these things, at one point, at the end, he says that, as Swami Desikan says in Gopala Vimshati, in the same way, Appaya Dikshita says, Adharahita Charu Vamshanalaha, Makutalambi Mayura Pinchamalaha, Harinila Shilavi Bhanganilaha, Pratibha Santu Mamantima Prayane, which means the boy who is blue, whose color is of blue sapphire gem. That is the color of the person, and he is having coral-like lips, where he is keeping the flute on the lips, and not only that, he has the crown on which he has the beautiful peacock feather decorated in the crown. So let this image be in my mind during my last time when I leave from this world. This is what Swami Desikan says. In the same way, here Appaya Dikshita also, after commenting on this Yadavabhyudayam, being an Advaiti, says this statement. That is, in the last times, this Krishna should be in my mind. That's what Appaya Dikshita says. Then what kind of work this Yadavabhyudayam should be? So it is, today we are talking about Yadavabhyudayam, but Swami's each and every work is like that. So in that way, Appaya Dikshita has not only commented, he has enjoyed Yadavabhyudayam so much, because without enjoying, one, he cannot comment, two, he cannot give such statement which I told just now. Not only this, even if we see the war in Ramayana, during the war in Ramayana, Ravana, who is the enemy of Lord Rama, he says to Rama at one point, Veera Raghava, he says, that is, he praises Lord Rama at a point. So that is the point where Rama is praised by his own enemy. That's why Rama is called as Shatroho Prakhyata Veeraha. In the same way, if we take this Advaiti, that is Appaya Dikshita, he is not from Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta, or he is not a Sri Vaishnava. Even in that case, being an Advaiti, he has praised Swami Deshika. So even Swami Deshika can be said as Shatroho Prakhyata Veeraha. That is, enemy is praising Swami Vedanta Deshika. So in that way,
But Dikshita is not his enemy.
he is not the enemy.
The other system of philosophy, that's only. Don't say that Dikshita is in that. Dikshita is highly inspired by Swami Deshika.
Yes, absolutely. Appaya Dikshita is highly inspired by Swami Deshika, no doubt about it. But being an Advaiti, no one else normally does this job. So in this way, we can see that Shatroho Prakhyata Veeraha even applies for Swami Deshika. So in that way, today we'll go into the topic by starting with the introduction of a person. Which person is that? That is nothing but, I'll not say the name first. Let me put the name at the last. Okay, there is a person. You can just imagine a movie in which a panchayat head is coming, let's say Muttu or something like that, and all the people are surrounded, and all the people are folding their hands, and they are having their hands like this, and there is a person coming in between like this. So who this person could be? Can you, any guesses? No, not Krishna. So I have not come. So I have not come to Krishna's introduction here. However, Krishna's introduction is not so great today as of now. But this introduction is for Vasudeva. Vasudeva was such a person where, as I told you, as I gave you the example of Panchayat head, so in that way, all the people used to fold their hands and bow in respect when Vasudeva came in front of them. So that's how Vasudeva is. And we see that how Vasudeva is, that's we get to know from Yadavabhyudayam. Swami says, Sa Vishnuriva Lokanam Tapanas Tejasamiva Samudraiva Ratnanam Satamekashrayo Bhavat. That is nothing but, for all the worlds, who is the only refuge? The only refuge is Lord Vishnu. In the same way, Tapanas Tejasamiva, that is, all the effulgence has found its refuge in where? It has found its refuge in the sun. In the same way, we see that the Ratna, or all the pearls, we see, where do we get them from? We get them from the ocean. That's how this person is. That is, all the people who are virtuous, who are involved in virtuous deeds, they think this person is such a great person, and they always fold their hands when he comes, and they bow in respect. Not only that, they find refuge in this person. That's how Vasudeva is. So if Vasudeva is like this, their wives are no less. Their wives are like the same Vasudeva. How Vasudeva is, in the same way we can see the wives. Prakhyata vibhave patnyau tasya purvam prajapatehe rohini devaki rupe manusyatve bahuvatuhu. So this is another shlokam from Yadavabhyudayam, where they are saying that these people, these two wives of Vasudeva, they are not normal human beings. In their previous births, they were the wives of Kashyapa. So they were Surabhi and Aditi, and the same persons have reborn as Vasudeva. Vasudeva's wives are. Then what is the happening that happens during the marriage of this Vasudeva and Devaki? We saw Devaki and Rohini are the wives, but let's see what is a marriage, because this is a very critical incident that we have to put some light on. So when the marriage happens, everything goes well, and they are in the possession. You all know this story, but I'm just narrating this again because this is something we need to think about a lot. Because when they are on the procession, Vasudeva and Devaki are coming on the chariot, and Kamsa is riding it. And at this time, there is an Ashariri which says that the 8th child of this Vasudeva and Devaki will kill you. And Kamsa got scared by hearing this. You believe me or not, Kamsa got scared. This is for true. Kamsa did so many mischiefs. Later, he sent so many asuras, many persons to kill Krishna. But he got scared at this point. Now, after that, he was not scared. That is not the meaning I'm saying. He got scared and he was in fear until his death. That's what even Andal Tayar says. Karuttai ped pittu kanjan vaitril. In that way, he was in fear until the end. Not only that, when he is in fear, let's say, let me take some example here. So let's say we are in some conversation with some other person, and that person just gives us some befitting reply back, and he speaks some rubbish and he gives some befitting reply. At that time, what do we think? We think that we need to give some befitting reply some other time, next time. That's what we think. That's what normal human being thinks, right? So when we meet that person, we try to give befitting reply, sorry. So, but befitting reply never works because he is stronger. That's what happened in the case of Kamsa too. Because Kamsa tried to give befitting reply, being in fear many times, but that did not succeed. So that's how Kamsa is. And if we see this Kamsa, he is in fear just by hearing this Ashariri Vak. Here in Yadavabhyudayam, Swami says, Kayachid Asharirinya Vacha Vyavasitayatihi Devakim Vasudevancha Kamsakaram Ayojayat. So, by hearing this, what he did, he put his sword on the neck of Vasudeva. How critical situation this is, you can imagine, right? So let's say, I'll take some daily life examples. That might not be so critical as this one, but it is critical for us. We think so. That's why. Let's see one of the example. Let's say I lock the door and I just go outside and I just go through the traffic for a long time. I need to go somewhere, and that's a very important work. So in that case, after going through the busy traffic for a long time, I see that there is no key of my home with me. I get to know that. Then how is the situation in the car? So whatever we were we were all enjoying all this time, and we were going through a car. But at this time, if we realize there is no key, but I don't know if we have locked the door or not, then how is the situation? So this is a critical situation, right? That's how it is here. But this is a critical situation for us. But there, for Vasudeva, when Kamsa put his sword on his neck, that is a very critical situation. So one should know how to handle this situation. And Vasudeva was such a person who handled this situation successfully and came out of this. So this is how Vasudeva is. But this Kamsa did not leave Vasudeva and Devaki as is. He doesn't want them to live happily, as he is in fear, and he wants to do something against Krishna and people who are related to Krishna. So in that way, and his wife Devaki in house arrest. So in that after he put them in the house arrest, then they were there for a long time until Kamsa's death. Until Kamsa's death, Vasudeva and Devaki were in house arrest. So that is a really long time. So today we see a lot of youngsters, right? We see a lot of youngsters handling their jobs and also their family lives, right? So the job pressure is very demanding, right? It goes to long night hours and all those things. So with the long hours, one cannot handle family properly, because if they are focusing on the job for long hours, they cannot focus on the family properly. So this is another crisis situation itself which we are facing, right? So in that way, so these are all some of the crises which we are facing today, and we need to learn how to come out of this by hearing to these kind of pieces from the scriptures. So Kamsa, how is Kamsa? Now comes the introduction of the villain. How is Kamsa? Sa kalatibala Kamsa kalanemi ranehasa sarvadaite satvanam samahara ivoditaha. So here in Yadavabhyudayam, Swami says that Kamsa is such a giant person. He is not a normal person. What kind of person he is? He has the physical strength in such a way that he can compete with Yama. The only difference between Yama and Kamsa is that they both torture people, but Kamsa tortures good people, Yama tortures bad people because of their punishment. As a punishment, he tortures them. So that is the only difference. Otherwise, he is just like Yama. That's how Kamsa is, says Swami Desikan here. So Kamsa is such a big giant, villain. So he is not a ordinary person. So that's how Swami introduces Kamsa here. Who is this Kamsa? If we see in the shlokam, we get to know that Kalanemi Ranehasa. That is the replica of Kalanemi. Who is this Kalanemi? Kalanemi was a Rakshasa, and he supported, he was an Asura. He supported Soma in the war against Brihaspati. So this was in the Tarakamaya Yuddham, where Soma tried to elope Brihaspati's wife, and there was a war between Devatas and Rakshasas. Rakshasas supported Soma, Devatas supported Brihaspati. During this time, Kalanemi was killed by Mahavishnu himself. So in this way, this Kalanemi has got the birth, that is, he has taken the rebirth as Kamsa. So this Kamsa, again, Kalanemi was also not an ordinary person. Even this person, that is, Kamsa is also not an ordinary person. So why Kamsa was born like this? So there is some reason for all why Kamsa, not only Kamsa, for anyone to be born in some way. Why is that? That is because Kamsa's mother had a relationship which is an illegal relationship with a Rakshasa, with an Asura whose name was Drumila. And this Asura disguised himself as what's his name? Her husband, that is Ugrasena, Kamsa's father, and then he had a relationship with Kamsa's mother. So in this way, she did not realize that, but she realized at last. But she was worried about this for the whole time until she gave birth to Kamsa, and she was not liking this. She was always thinking about this, and at the same time, she was not liking this. this was the thought she had in her mind. That is the reason why Kamsa was born as Asura. One. Second, he got all the Asuric qualities. So this is the only reason. So that's how we see that why Kamsa was born like this. So it is very important whenever a lady is pregnant, how to spend their time becomes very important. So we get to know from this, because she was completely thinking about the same incident and she was not liking it. She was hating that incident. So this is something very critical we have to think about. So now let's go into the actual topic today, where Kamsa is going to be killed. Krishna and Balarama come to Mathura along with Akrura, and Krishna and Balarama do kill many people. Kuvalaya Pitam, they kill an elephant, and they do kill Chanura and Mustika, who are wrestlers. And this way they do keep on killing, and they come into the palace where this Kamsa is seated. So here we see that as they come in, what this Kamsa, this cruel Kamsa says is, just take these two people out of this place and kill Vasudeva and also Ugrasena. Ugrasena is his own father, so he wants to kill them. So he says this. We see these shlokams from Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam, based on Bhagavatam, we see Yadavabhyudayam. So in this way, here we see Vasudevastu Durmedha Hanyatam Ashvasattamaha Ugrasena Pita Chapi Sanugah Parapakshagaha. He is saying, please kill them. So he doesn't want anyone to live. So in this way, Kamsa is showing his hatred against the people who are in support of Krishna. Not only this, evam vikattamane vai kamse prakupito vyaha laghinnotpatya tarasa mancham uttungamaruhat. So what Krishna did, after hearing these words from Kamsa, Krishna got really angry, because Devaki and Vasudeva have not suffered for a small time, and now they have suffered for a very long time. And even after this long time, Kamsa says this word to kill Devaki and Vasudeva. How can a son be silent? Krishna got really angry, and then he jumped onto the stage where on the throne Kamsa was seated, and he just pulled down Kamsa from that seat. So we do see some shlokas in Bhagavatam which describes this. Evam vikattamane vai kamse prakupito vyaha laghinnotpatya tarasa manchamuttungamaruhat tamavishantamalokya mrutyumatmana asanat manasvi sahasothaya jagrihe sosi charmani. So he just, even before, as Krishna jumped to the stage where Kamsa had seated, Kamsa took out his sword, and he had the shield on the other hand. So with this, he was ready. He thought he was ready to face Krishna. But tam kadmapanam vicharantamashu shyenam yatha dakshina savyambare samagrahi durvishahogra teja yathoragam takshasata prasakya. Here in Bhagavatam, they say that as Krishna jumped there, and he took out the sword, and he had the shield in the other hand. Here, how Krishna, after jumping, what Krishna did was he held his hair, and he held him completely. How was this? Bhagavatam says this was like Garuda capturing its own, its prey. In this way, this is how Krishna captured Kamsa, says Bhagavatam. If you see an interesting point here, this is the shlokam from Bhagavatam, right? We can see the same way Swami Desikan describes this episode in Yadavabhyudayam. Garutmaniva bhubagat gagana bhogamayatam kamsamancham apadvarat udaplavata keshavaha. Same thing here. Swami Desikan says that Krishna jumped onto the stage where Kamsa was there, And how was it? This was just like Garuda flying and going on to to another place. This is how it was. This we can see the same kind of comparisons in Bhagavatam and also in Yadavabhyudayam. So Krishna did this. After that, he got hold of the hair of Kamsa and then pulled him down from the stage where he was and threw him down on the floor, and he jumped on Kamsa himself, and finally he just gave a blow. That's it. Kamsa was gone. So that's what we see here. Pragrihya kesheshu chalat kiritam nipatya rangopari tungamanchat tasyoparishta swayamabjanabha papata vishwashraya atmatantraha. These are again the verses from Bhagavatam. Tam samparetam vichakarsha bhumau hariryatebam jagato vipashyata ha heti hariryatebam jagato vipashyata ha heti shabdas samahans tadabhu dudiritas sarvajanair narendra. So when this happened, there were lots of people who were witnessing this, and everyone exclaimed, "Excellent! Ha ha!" and excellent. They were in so much joy. So that's how they praised all these people. This is the verse which shows killing of Kamsa in Bhagavatam. If we see killing of Kamsa in Yadavabhyudayam, that's really in a very different and interesting way. Mahamohamiva akramya matulam madhusudanaha viveka iva vrittastham ugrasenam amochayat. This is really very interesting. That is Mahamoham. Mahamohan is a character in Sankalpa Suryodayam, which is a drama composed by Swami Desikan. And Mahamohan is the head character where he tries to defeat, and he tries to somehow he wants to make he wants the Jivatma to fail in all his attempts. That's what he keeps on trying in Sankalpa Suryodayam. In this way, that's how Mahamohan does his activities. In the same way, we can see Kamsa, right? This Kamsa was attacked by whom? He was attacked by Madhusudanaha, who is like the opposite party in Sankalpa Suryodayam, that is Viveka Maharaja. He is the king, and he is the king for the Jivatma. He makes the Jivatma to go in the virtuous path. So that's what Viveka Maharaja helps Jivatma to do. In this way, how Viveka Maharaja helps Jivatma in the virtuous path? By killing Mahamohan. In the same way, Krishna killed Kamsa here, and we see this killing of Kamsa in Yadavabhyudayam. This is how Swami Desikan shows us killing of Kamsa. Finally, we see how Kamsa got his how Kamsa attained higher abode. We see that Swami Desikan says, "Dadaucha Kamsa Vrutyanam dadatam tatra jivitam unmukha tridasha prekshyam urdhvam gatim manuttamam." Here Swami Desikan says that Kamsa and all his servants, they got the higher abode, and even Devatas in Devalokam, they were seeing like this, because they went to such an higher abode. That's what here Swami Desikan says. And this is how Kamsa got killed in one way, but in the other way, if we see, Kamsa did not go anywhere far. He went near or close to Lord Krishna himself. So as today's topic was Kamsa Vadham, so in whatever time provided, I have completed it as much as I know. If there are any mistakes, I would like to pardon me. Please pardon me if there are any mistakes, or otherwise if there is something which I have said really good, and if you have enjoyed it, all those credits goes to my Acharyan. So in that way, I would like to conclude here. Again, this is a very good Mahotsavam which is happening here in this Yadavabhyudayam. So I would like to thank one and all for providing me this opportunity to speak here in the Yadavabhyudayam Mahotsavam. Thank you again. Kavitarkika Simhaya. Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Vadidvipa Shirobhanga Panchana Parakramaha. Shriman Venkatanatharya Stiram Vijayatam Bhuvi. Srimate Adivan Chadopa Yatindra Mahadeshikaya Namaha. Srimate Lakshmi Nrsimha Divya Paduka Sevaka Shrivan Chadopa Shri Narayana Yatindra Mahadeshikaya Namaha. Srimate Shrivan Chadopa Shri Ranganath Yatindra Mahadeshikaya Namaha. Srimate Shri Smadgurubhyo Namaha.
கருத்தை படிப்பித்த கஞ்சன் வயிற்றில் நெருப்பென்று நின்ற நடுவாள் அப்படின்னு ஆண்டாள் பாடினான். அதுக்கப்புறம் யாதவாபியுதயம் பிரதான மகாகாவியத்துல சுவாமி தேசிகன் கம்சனை பத்தி பல இடங்கள்ல சொல்றார். அந்த கம்சனுடைய பிறப்பு எப்படி இருந்ததுன்னு கேட்டா, காலனே கம்சனா வந்துட்டான்றதுதான் அங்க பிரதானமா சொல்லக்கூடிய ஒரு விசேஷம். காலநேமின்றவன் மகாசுரனா இருந்தான், அவனே மறுபடியும் இப்ப பிறந்துட்டானோ அப்படின்னு நினைக்கும்படியாக லோக பீடாகரனா இருந்தான். ஆக்சுவலி அவர் ஒரு பாயிண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணினார். தேவகியின் சகோதரன் கம்சன், தட் மீன்ஸ் கிருஷ்ணனுக்கு மாமா. அப்படி இருக்கச்சு அவனை எப்படி அசுரன் சொல்ல முடியும்? உக்ரசேனன் அசுரன் இல்லை, தேவகி அசுர குலத்துல பிறக்கல, வசுதேவர் அசுர பெண்ணை கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்கல, கிருஷ்ணன் அசுரனுடைய மருமகன். அப்படின்னா அவன் மட்டும் இப்படி அசுரன் ஆக முடியும்? அவனு ஹியூமன் தானே சொல்லணும். அப்படின்னுச்சே கம்சன் இடத்துல இருந்தது அசுர சுபாவம். கம்சன் மட்டும் இல்ல, கம்சனுடைய சகோதரர்களும் இருந்திருக்கா. அவள் நிறைய ஹைலைட் பண்ணல, ஆனா தேசிகன் ஹைலைட் பண்றாரு. பாகவதம் அதை ஹைலைட் பண்ணல, ஹரிவம்சம் அதை ஹைலைட் பண்றது தேசிகன் எடுத்து காண்பிக்கிறது. கம்சனுடைய சகோதரர்கள் வரா, எல்லாருமே என்ன அண்ணனுக்கு ஏத்தவாளா இருக்கா, அப்பாவை ஜெயில போடுறதுக்கு. ஆகையால் தான் தேசிகன் மகாமோகனுடைய கேரக்டர் எடுத்தார். ஜீவாத்மாவை பந்தனம் பண்றது, சம்சாரத்திலேயே ஜீவாத்மாவை கட்டி போடுறதுக்கு, அதாவது சாம்சாரிகமான ஒரு ஆசையை உண்டு பண்றதுக்காகவே மகாமோகனுடைய கேரக்டர் இருக்கு. The same thing that is explained by Swami Desikan here. அதான் எடுத்து நம்ம சுவாமி சொன்னார். நிறைய அபியாசங்கள் பண்ணிக்கணும். இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய உபன்யாசங்கள் பண்ணும்போது, அபியாசங்கள் பண்ணும்போது எல்லாருமே ஒரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா, ஸ்லோகம்னு வரும்பொழுது ஸ்லோகத்துக்குன்னு ஒரு கம்பீரம் இருக்கு. ஸ்லோகத்தை ஸ்லோகமா சொல்லணும். வால்மீகியினுடைய சோகம் ஸ்லோகமா வந்தது, ஸ்லோகம் சோகமா வரக்கூடாது. சோகம் ஸ்லோகமா வரலாம் இல்லையா? சோகம் ஸ்லோகமா வந்தா ரசிக்கும், ஸ்லோகம் சோகமா வரக்கூடாது. ஆனா ஸ்லோகத்தை ஸ்லோகமா சொல்றதுன்றது ஒரு ரசனை. அது ஒரு அழகா. எங்க வாழ்க்கை சுவாமிகள் ஸ்லோகம் சொல்றதே நாங்க ரசிப்போம். அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு விருத்தம் வச்சிருக்காரு. ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்லோகத்துக்கு ஒரு சந்தஸ் இருக்குன்னா அந்த சந்தஸை உணர்ந்து சொல்றதுன்றது ஒரு அழகு. இட் இஸ் ஒன்லி பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த இங்கிலீஷ். அதுன்றதுக்கோசரம் ஸ்லோகத்தினுடைய தன பாவத்தை மாதிரி கூடாது. ஸோ நிறைய விருத்தி பண்ணிக்கணும், நிறைய பேசி பழகணும், நிறைய அபிவிருத்தி பண்ணிக்கணும். அவருக்கு எல்லாருடைய ஆசீர்வாதங்கள் வேணும். அடுத்தது இப்ப சந்தியாவந்தன பிரேக்கு.